What are some alarming statistics that more people should know about? 1 in 8 pregnancies end in miscarriage. It is common and not anybody's fault. I bet there are even more that we just aren't aware as they are eliminated so early during the menstruation cycle. That is correct. 1 in 8 known pregnancies end in miscarriage. The total is estimated to be much higher. This isn't an alarming statistic, but people should be aware that a lot of statistics, based on sample, are subject to variability, and the statistic you see is the best estimate, not an exact figure. Yay. Ideally all statistical claims should be backed by a sigma/p value. Agreed. Often CIs are included around some headline statistics in original publications, but you'll find these are often omitted then from papers quoting them, and excluded from the press, and then get lost. If we take into account both the air pollution and the accidents during mining, transportation of the material, facilities construction, and all the industrial accidents, fossil fuels kill much more than nuclear energy. Even if we count all the deaths in the Chernobyl and Fukushima disasters, while nuclear energy kills 0.02 people per terawatt-hour, oil causes 18.4 deaths per terawatt-hour, while coal goes up to 24.6. Never thought I'd be reading about something in deaths per terawatt-hour. Cool internet today. This is more specific to the United States. One of the leading causes of death in pregnant women is murder, along with heart disease being a leading cause, because your heart actually weakens during this time. The US has more than double the mortality rate for pregnant women than other developed countries. US 19 per 100, 000 vs Italy 2 per 100, 00. Black women at 4x as likely to die during pregnancy/birth. Native women were 3x as likely to die during pregnancy/birth. Overall, the mortality rate for pregnant women is 211 in 100, 000 for the whole world, South Sudan being the worst with 150 deaths per 100, 000. Average cost to give birth in the US is $10.080. Average maternity leave is 12 weeks unpaid. It's no wonder US birth stats went down this last year. Job insecurity plus little to no paid leave is rough. And childcare is super expensive, especially with so many daycare centers at limited capacity, and the cost of medical care, even with insurance, is staggering to say the least. The average cost for just the birthing is $10,800. When you take in all the care before and after, it can get upwards of $30,000. In America there is a 40% chance that you could get away with murder. Thankfully my city had a 90% close rate last year, but that's for murder cases, right? I mean, that's where a death is recognized as a homicide. Is there an estimation of how many cases go undiscovered? 73.6% of US adults are either overweight or obese. The rest are gay or religious. 300k die of obesity yearly in America. That's all? That's about 1 in 1,000 Americans. Assuming the life expectancy is 80 years and the population pyramid is a rectangle, that would be about 8% of all deaths. You are more likely to be struck by lightning than to win the lottery. What if I buy 2 lottery tickets? Then you are twice as likely to be struck by lightning. 99% of r/shower thoughts are not thought of in the shower. 99% of r/shower thoughts aren't even actual shower thoughts. Laugh. Every 60 seconds in Africa, a minute passes. Every 60 minutes in Africa, an hour passes. Every 60 hours in Africa, a day passes. In the United States, most people who receive government welfare work. Testis cancer is most common in men in their late 20s and early 30s, with an average age of diagnosis of 33 years old. That's so much younger than I thought. Roughly 10,000 child marriages occur in the US each year, the majority of them being underage girls married to adult men. As of 2020, only 4 states have completely outlawed child marriage in the US, along with some territories. Yep, in my state you can get married as early as 14 over 16, if you have parental permission. What in the ever-living shit is this? I'm about to start another riot. 83% of statistics are made up. That's an interesting statistic you got there, fellow. You're more likely to die on the ride to the airport than you are while on the plane. Everyone always says, I'd rather drive than get on an airplane because it's safer. It's not safer. It just seems that way because you're in control. My grandfather always said that he stopped being afraid of flying, specifically because of my grandmother's driving. He had an undiagnosed but it's hella inherited yeah. But so he was always running late. He would have to travel for work and my grandma would drive him to the airport like a bat out of hell. He said that once he got out of the car after her driving, he felt so safe anywhere that wasn't that car that his fear of flying just completely dissolved. TL. Doctor, that tracks. Lol. If you win the lottery, your chances of being murdered skyrocket and odds are the person ready to do the deed is a family member or a close friend. 100% of people who are dead were once alive. Everyone who is alive was born. That's wrong. You can be alive in the womb, but then die before birth. In this thread, 95% unsourced facts. Gullibility porn at its finest. Good catch. I'll throw a source in mine. 93% of people in prison are men. By 2050, without the proper course of intervention, over 10 million people are expected to die annually due to antibiotic-resistant bacteria. I would argue that that's not a true stat. Expected to predictions 30 years into future are wildly inaccurate guesses at best, because the odds of having a medical breakthrough in this area by 2050, even just modern medicine being 2 generations better, will mean that forecast will most likely need to be dramatically recalculated. Yeah, right. How about this? More people die of one strain of antibiotic-resistant bacteria, MRSA, in the US each year than from homicide, AIDS, Parkinson's and emphysema combined. 1 in 5 women and 1 in 71 men have experienced rape or sexual assault of some kind. The saddest part is it probably is more due to unreported cases, etc. Because of this statistic, I wish people didn't doubt rape allegations so much, because it's way more likely than you think. And especially the people who think it didn't happen, just because someone couldn't prove it in court. That shit is hard to prove if you don't think logically after it happened. Which hell, most people won't. That shit is traumatic. I think you're oversimplifying. People aren't believed for a variety of reasons. 1. The credibility of the victim. There are many women who truly cry wolf for attention. 2. Men aren't acknowledged as victims when it's a woman who's the perpetrator. 3. These are heavy accusations. Don't dismiss, but don't believe at the drop of a hat. The surprisingly high number of maternal deaths in developed countries. I think it has to do with crunchy natural birth people opting for home births and untrained attendants. Most of them happen in hospital births, because that's still where most births happen. We produce over 380 million tons of plastic every year, with potentially half of it being for single-use products. At least 8 million tons of plastic makes its way into the ocean every year. In 2018, 163 million Americans admitted to using disposable razors. That's not 163 million being produced. It's 163 million people consistently using them for a year. Try a safety razor. Doing your part is pretty fucking easy and saves you a lot, if money in the long term. 9 out of 10 $1 bills have trace amounts of cocaine. I figured as much. How many have trace amounts of strip or a scrack? Somebody give me 100 $100 bills and I'll lick 'em. We'll report tomorrow. The African elephant population has tripled in the past 6 months. Elephants gestate for almost 2 years and rarely have more than 1 calf at a time. Even if the entire population consisted of adult females all calving within that time span, I don't see how a tripling of population size in 6 months would not be a biological impossibility. It would indeed be cause for alarm if that were the case. It's false. It's something Stephen Colbert encouraged people to edit Wikipedia to say. However, it appears that the number of elephants in Botswana has tripled since 1991. Kenya's elephant population has doubled in the last 30 years and Nambia's elephant herd population has tripled since 1990. 50% of any population is below average in intelligence. I think you mean below the median. Nope. The amount of invasive alien species in the world, especially the ones who straight up have the ability to make native animals, plants or fungi extinct, red lionfishes, Asian giant hornets etc. Close bracket. 8. 4% of US prisoners are in private prisons. It is alarming, because it goes against the private prisons are the cause for the high incarceration rate narrative. What it means is that the US is locking up most people even without the private prisons. Do people actually believe that the biggest problems with American prisons is that they're private? It's a problem for sure, but I haven't met anybody that thinks it's a bigger problem than the built-in racism, or the fact it's designed to punish instead of rehabilitate. You must not be terribly active on Reddit, because it is a very commonly held belief. I always remember that peanuts kill more people every year than any illegal drug. The lettuce in Burger King has in fact been stepped on. The last thing you want in your Burger King burger is somebody else's foot lettuce, but as it turns out, that might be what you get. Most people are ugly. Lung cancer is rising in never smokers. Part of this is simple math. As more and more of a group make up the population, disease rates will rise accordingly, but math can't account for all of it, and doctors are scratching their heads over it. So just because you don't smoke doesn't mean you are safe. Be careful. Car fumes and other smog like that is same as smoking. Falling is one of the leading causes of death. I'm pretty sure it's what happens after the fall that kills you. Thank you for watching. We hope you enjoyed this video. Please subscribe for more videos.